My name's Daniel, and I thought I had a good grip on my marriage. My wife, Claire, and I had been together for nearly 8 years. Sure, we had our ups and downs like every couple, but I never doubted her loyalty. I never questioned her love. That illusion shattered one Friday night, in the most gut-wrenching way possible. Claire had gone out with her friends, something she did once in a while. I didn't mind. I trusted her. I stayed home, watched the game, and eventually dozed off on the couch. Around midnight, I woke up to the sound of keys fumbling at the door. I thought she was just struggling to get in quietly. What I didn't expect was to hear her giggling voice, and the voice of one of her friends, Melissa, trailing right behind her. They didn't notice I was awake. I stayed still, half hidden in the shadows, as they staggered toward the kitchen. That's when I heard it. Claire's voice, slurred with alcohol, dripping with arrogance. Honestly, he's too stupid to realize I've been cheating this whole time. I mean, how clueless can a man be? The words sliced through me like a blade. My chest tightened, my stomach dropped, and my whole body went cold. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Melissa gasped, "Claire, you can't just say that out loud." But Claire only laughed harder, leaning against the counter like she had just told the funniest joke in the world. My mind raced. Cheating? The woman I built a life with, the woman I trusted blindly, was openly admitting she had betrayed me, mocking me for not noticing. I wanted to storm into that kitchen and demand answers, but my legs felt like stone. I stayed silent, frozen, every word she spoke carving itself into my memory. Melissa tried to calm her down. "You're drunk. Don't say things you'll regret." But Claire scoffed. "Regret? Please. It's not like he'll ever figure it out. He thinks I'm this devoted wife." Meanwhile, I've had more excitement in the last 6 months than in our entire marriage. Hearing her laugh about it, laugh at me, broke something deep inside. All the late nights she said she was working, all the girls' weekends, all the excuses suddenly clicked into place. I realized I hadn't been blind. I'd just been too trusting. And she had been taking advantage of that every single day. I sat there in the dark, gripping the edge of the couch so hard my knuckles turned white. Every instinct screamed at me to jump up, to yell, to demand an explanation. But something stopped me. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was the need to hear more, to gather every piece of her betrayal before I confronted her. Melissa tried once again. "Claire, you don't mean that. You're drunk and talking nonsense." But Claire waved her hand dismissively, her voice dripping with disdain. "Oh, come on, Melissa. You know I've been seeing Mark. He's exciting, spontaneous, nothing like Daniel. Honestly, it's pathetic how clueless he is. I can sneak out whenever I want, and he just buys every excuse I give him." Hearing the name hit me like a hammer. Mark, my co-worker, a guy I'd invited over for barbecues, a man who had shaken my hand and smiled at me like a friend. The betrayal doubled, twisting the knife deeper. Melissa lowered her voice, but I could still hear her. "Claire, you're playing with fire. What if he finds out?" Claire chuckled. "If he hasn't figured it out by now, he never will. Daniel trusts me too much. He's blind. And honestly, I don't even care anymore. If he finds out, maybe it'll finally push him to be the man I need him to be." Those words burned. She wasn't just mocking me. She was justifying her betrayal, twisting it as if it were my fault. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might explode. That was the breaking point. I stood, flicked on the living room light, and walked straight into the kitchen. Both women froze, their faces draining of color. Claire's drunken smirk vanished the moment she saw me standing there, calm but cold. "Funny thing about being too stupid," I said evenly. "Sometimes we hear things we weren't meant to hear." Claire's eyes widened in panic. "Daniel, it's not what it sounds like." I cut her off. "Don't bother. You've said enough. Every word is burned into my memory." Melissa looked like she wanted to disappear. She mumbled something about needing to leave and rushed out the door, leaving Claire and me in suffocating silence. For the first time in our marriage, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger, a liar, someone who had taken my love and turned it into a joke. Claire tried to speak, to explain, but the words fell flat. I didn't need explanations. I needed action. not just from her, but from myself. I realized that the trust that had once formed the foundation of our marriage was gone, shattered, and it wasn't coming back without consequences. The following day, I made a plan. I knew Claire's arrogance was her weakness. She believed she could manipulate anyone, that no one would ever catch on. I decided to make the truth unavoidable, undeniable. I started quietly documenting everything. Texts, social media messages, the timing of her work trips and late nights. I kept screenshots, logs, and recordings, each one a nail in the coffin of the story she had spun for months. A week later, the moment came. Claire invited me to dinner at her favorite restaurant, under the guise of talking things out. I agreed, playing calm, measured, and unsuspecting. When we arrived, I noticed Mark sitting at the far end of the restaurant, nervously glancing at Claire. I felt no shock, only a cold, calculating calm. As we ate, I leaned forward, keeping my voice steady. Claire, I know everything. The lies, the secret meetings, the text messages, everything. And I have proof. All of it. Her fork trembled in her hand. Daniel, what are you talking about? She stammered. I didn't rise to her act. I slid my phone across the table, letting her see the evidence herself. Mark's face turned pale when he realized the jig was up. Claire's mouth opened and closed like a fish, no words coming out. The wait staff, witnessing her panic, exchanged confused glances. I didn't need an audience, but the public setting amplified her humiliation. Every smirk she had ever worn, every laugh at my expense, every secretive glance toward Mark, all boiled into this one moment. She had underestimated me. She had assumed I was too stupid to realize. And now, everyone could see the truth. Claire's reputation, once carefully curated within our social circle, crumbled in an instant. Mark disappeared quietly, muttering excuses. I stood, collected my coat, and looked at her one last time. You want to play games? I've shown you who the smarter player is. Walking out, I felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. Relief for reclaiming my dignity. Sorrow for the betrayal of someone I once loved. But the lesson was clear. Trust is precious, and when it's broken, consequences follow swiftly. Claire had learned that the hard way. The next week, her friends, family, and co-workers all knew the truth. The whispers turned into discussions, the discussions into judgment. Claire had spent months thinking she was untouchable, and for the first time, she wasn't.